Welcome back to Money and Politics in Delaware. Again, apology for the voice today. It comes and goes. Jim Hosley is our guest. He's a Rodney Institute. We've been talking about an event he's doing on he's participating in on September 22nd. And really, it's the role of the community, the minority community, and just some brutal stats. And Jim, I think that takes somebody just tuning in up to date. But the idea of September 22nd is something will come out of it. Well, a number of things will, but one of them is a proverbial game plan. Clearly, you have to wait for the 22nd, but do you have at least some footprints? Do you have some thoughts before you get there?
Yeah, there's a lot of things are going on in other states that are making significant differences. Things like, for example, no social promotion from the third to the fourth grade. And people say, well, why is that important? Because the Casey Foundation has done a study and say, what is common among dropouts, and they've done a study on 19-year-old dropouts, and the only thing that they found that was common with the dropout rate was that they could not read at grade in the third grade. And so, places like Florida, for example, have gone in and said, okay, that's fine. There were no more social promotion because you can't promote them and then bet they're going to catch up because, remember, the grade requirements continue to go up as you move forward. So, it's very important that the requirement grade at 30 because the pipeline to dropouts is being built right there in the grammar school. And we see the same thing here when I talk to our middle school teachers and the ability of our middle school students to be able to read. They spend a lot of time doing remedial work because they cannot read at grade.
But Jim, you are implying, if not saying, that Florida took proaction not to simply promote, and that, what I hear, implies that in Delaware, most, whatever the word choice is, they get promoted anyway. Are you going to stand by that?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm being told by teachers that come in, that there's a problem with going right back into the grammar schools with regard to the capabilities and then students being moved on.
Jim, you're telling me that you have this cement study that says if you can't read by the third grade level when you're in third grade, that statistically your life is wasted, and there's nothing in Delaware to make that a remedial course or a prerequisite to promotion? You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, and the performance in Delaware is actually in the last 3 years has gotten worse, not better when it comes to scores in the third grade.
Well, you're just gonna have it just rip me apart today, my friend. All right, okay, then the drum roll, please, because then the follow-up question is, why in the world is this nonsense continuing?
Well, it's.
I don't know. That's why you're here.
Well, the system is entrenched. I mean, we've got the status quo, and the inertia in order to overcome that is phenomenal. And you get things like the Delaware State Education Association is not in favor of things that other places have done, like a school rating system that actually tells people what the schools are doing, and it helps the teachers to be able to take and measure the progress that they're making and get credit for doing that. Or a partnership program with minority and underrepresented students that provides free PSAT scores. It provides free access to advanced placement programs for minorities. It provides advanced placement bonuses for teachers. I mean, there are just any number of things, not to mention school choice, which there is a variety of ways that we can do that would give parents a choice of being able to choose to send their children to either a charter school or a private school or a public school. And the National Education Association and the Delaware State Education Association just violently against this, and they are very influential. They're very influential in our political system, and they're very influential in our school system.
So how did Florida get it through and Delaware's not got it through?
What part of it was very strong leadership on the part of Governor Bush. He stood up against them, and in fact, the Florida State Education Association was absolutely against him in a hotly contested reelection campaign, to the point of taking out a mortgage on their building so that they could have more funding. So, I mean, it takes strong leadership, and it takes a will on the part of the people that they want to have this change made. And that is extremely important. We're beginning to see the will on the part of the people here in Delaware. Unfortunately, I don't think we're seeing the same thing with the state. In fact, they just established a committee to review the application process for charter schools and so forth. The committee has a poor charter, and the committee has no leader. But they got 24 people that are going to meet every month between now and December to review the charter school program. School, by the way, which has been successful because many of our charter schools here in Delaware score above the rest of the state. So
give me that one again, that last sentence, and do you have stats that back that up by and large?
Yeah, well, I looked into places like the Newark Charter School, Sussex, and Academy, and other ones, and some of the statistics that they find in these schools that have done an outstanding job of doing it in special education, they're scoring 4 to 5 grades above the rest of the special eds in Delaware, and they're scoring all of the schools is showing 1 to 2 grades above.
Now, connect some dots for us. This Faith and Freedom Coalition, it's the minority community by and large, if I understood you correctly. That organization, at least in theory, sometime in the fall, will ban with you, and this is me rambling. This is by the way, at the end, this has a question, and you will, as a voting bloc, endorse certain candidates and not endorse others. And those candidates will adhere to some basic common things to improve the life of the younger minority community. Is that, I don't want to get melodramatic, but is that the theme of what you're trying to do September 22nd?
We're trying to get a game plan moving forward that we would take to the politicians. I don't know. Faith and Freedom Coalition is, where they're going to end up actually endorsing. I'm not certain what's going to happen with that. What they are going to have is a program that's going to come out from this thing that's going to be taking to the people that are running for office and saying these are the things that we need.
And then circle back just a minute because I had to clean that one up. And what is this committee? And again, I'm not dumb like a fox, just dumb. What is this committee that you cut off at the knees that's reviewing charter but doesn't have it? What's that? Tell that story again. Doesn't have a chair. What's the mission statement?
I'm researching that now. It's to look at the charter schools application process, and a lot of this came out of remember the Newark Charter School earlier this year, where there's a lot of discussion around it going into a high school, and out of there came a bill that was to look at charter schools. That bill was chartered, and they had also then under Representative Schooley, who is now retiring, a committee that was to be formed to look at the charter schools, and I think properly it's probably called a task force better. And it's a working group of state and local school officials, charter school leaders, and legislators and representative, and they basically is to look at to review the current landscape of charter schools and recommend the benefit of the students.
Wow. We've got about a minute left. I found this one fascinating and painful, so I want to go back and make sure I got it right. You're telling us, the audience, me, that Delaware's public school system generates what on an SAT, 4th, 9th, 40th? Give us those stats one more time, please, to make sure I can repeat it correctly.
Okay, the median score of the SATs is 44. We score 44 out of the 50 states. Our cost of education is the 9th highest per student and the 4th highest per capita. And our K through 12 testing results are middle of the road from mid-20s to low 30s.
One sentence. What happens September 22nd? One sentence.
We're going to have pastors and community leaders from the minority, the Hispanic and Black community, who are going to come together to develop an action program to improve literacy in that group.
Caesar Rodney Institute, Jim Hosley. We'll see you back here next week for more money and politics in Delaware.